Welcome back to the Chat Lounge, where we talk all things Gym Leader Challenge. Thank you so much for joining me and my co-host, John Patterson. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing okay, John.
Just okay?
Today was eventful. It's my wife's first day back in the semester, 21st grade. And still going strong, and so that's exciting. And then I fell down the stairs while holding my cat.
Oh, I was not prepared for that. Before the podcast, Ben's like, I have something I want to share with you, but I'm going to wait for the intro. I couldn't have guessed that that's what happened. Are you
No,
okay? Is your cat okay?
I'm okay. We're all fine. It wasn't like
Okay.
a forward tumble. I was going down the stairs, and I was holding my cat in her bucket. We call it her bucket because she like lays on her back with her paws up, and we just
Oh.
like hold her like a baby. So we put her in a bucket, and I was coming down the stairs with her, and I couldn't like see where my feet were going because I'm holding her, and she's really big. And Abby had left some like clothes on one of the lower stairs, like on the fourth stair, to like take upstairs to her closet. So I stepped on the clothes, and I just like completely slipped and like fell backwards, hit like my butt, tailbone, and my elbow here really bad. It
Oh
doesn't
my gosh, yeah.
like there's like the
Dang,
rug
dude.
burn or something there, but like you can kind of see the shape here. This is just a big swollen bump uh on my arm
Did
there.
you bust through the saloon doors at the bottom?
No, this is so
Like
this
in
was
an old Western?
no, this was going down from the very upstairs to the
Oh, okay,
main
not
floor,
the
so
not the
not the
basement steps.
basement. No. But that would have been funny. You got saloon doors to the basement at the bottom of the stairs in the basement. Um, but no, this was on the upper level. But I held Avery. I did not drop her. I did not throw her. She
Didn't
was
use one of her
fine.
9 lives.
Yep, she still's got all 9 of her lives. She did. We like landed and we stayed still for a second. She was fine. She didn't get jump startled too bad, but she did have a single claw in my cheek here. But we were just like stuck. We were both just like not
Yeah.
moving, and then I was like, "Take the claw
Like,
out of my cheek."
yeah, they do that, man. They hang on for dear life when they're like falling or something. Even just if you're trying to set a cat down, they just get like real clingy sometimes. So
Yeah,
I imagine falling down the stairs, they were, cat was digging in for dear life.
yeah, could have been a lot worse. So I'm not too bad. I can't show that part on camera, but I have a very black bruise on, on my butt. It's very dark.
Oh my gosh.
So, anyways, that was
Well, I'm
my
glad you and the cat are okay.
thank you. Yeah, that was fun. How was your day?
My day, I didn't fall down a flight of stairs. And I was carrying my newborn son, so I'm definitely glad that didn't happen.
Yikes! Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a chill day. We had family photos today. Just went and took some photos with the newborn and the family and stuff, and so it was good. The photographer said my 3-year-old was like a superstar and one of the best 3-year-olds she's ever had, and my son was like asleep and cooperative the whole time. So it was like the most, you hear like family photos, like it's just like sounds like always such a struggle to get the family like wrangled together and do things. It was just like so easy and perfect, and we got some really good photos. So it's a
East.
good time.
Very cool. Very
Shout
cool.
out JC Penney.
That's right. I always wanted to do take. I see stuff on TikTok where people take their cat to do that. I've always wanted to do that. I think that'd be funny. So
Great. I'm sure they'd love that. I'm sure the photographer that works there would love that.
I mean, I'm sure my cats would hate it. That's the problem. I can't take them anywhere. Um,
No, not even down the stairs.
Not even down the stairs. We let them onto the porch for the first. They're strictly indoor cats, and we let them onto the front porch the other day just to like see what would happen. And like we're not super worried they're gonna like take off. They're cats aren't just runners like that.
Mhm.
Um, and they like they're skittish. They walk around a little bit, sniff some stuff, and then our other cat Goose like got really attached to this like plant right next to our porch and was like growling at it while sniffing it. It was like really weird. She's like never acted like this. She was like getting worked up while sniffing this tree, and we
Mhm.
like went to grab her to pick her up, and she like it's just like what is going on right now? What is on this tree?
Yeah.
Uh, so
They're all about smells. Anytime we open the windows in our house, our cats are just like, we don't have much of a windowsill, but they'll get up just like as close as they can to the window, like resting on like the smallest little ledge, like they're just like sniffing at the screen and stuff like that. So,
yeah, yeah, they love that.
welcome to
So
the Gym Leader Cat Lounge, everyone. If you didn't
Leader,
know, that's what this podcast is today. Right,
exactly.
you've stepped into the cat lounge.
Yeah. But I mean, last week was the Phoebe Bridgers chat lounge, and you have since
Yeah,
dove in yourself.
I
You
did.
want to give a
I took
review?
my Yes, I took not only my first listen of the Bridgers album, but my second and third. I wanted to make sure I gave it a thorough chance. I'd never listened to any of her music before, so when these two were talking about it, I'm like, I don't know. So, it was good. It was a solid album. I liked. I told Ben, I was like, there were some songs that I was like, yeah, these are fine. Like not really like the greatest things I've ever heard, but there were some songs that were some really good on there. I was telling Ben before the pod, like Lost Boys is kind of just like stuck in my head right now. It's kind of like the catchiest one of the album, but
Yeah.
definitely like I liked Haunted, I think is my
Yeah.
favorite. I liked on the album. That was really good.
Yeah. I think that's become my favorite as well. That one's super good. It's like the most folky sounding one, kind of
Yeah, and that's more
acoustic.
up.
Yeah.
That's more like my taste,
Yeah.
like that type of music. So that's like, yeah. So she's like right there and kind of like the edge of my musical taste.
For sure.
So it's a good album, good listen.
Good
Thanks
listen.
for putting me on.
We had a couple commenters who got put on. Someone said that they listened on our recommendation and was glad that they did. So if you still are
Phoebe
not
Bridgers is going
sold,
to be so confused when the massive influx of listeners from our podcast hits her Spotify numbers.
oh yeah, it's going to be very noticeable. Yeah, a significant 10-person increase.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, if you're not sold on it yet, go listen to Phoebe's new album.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, we have a lot of things to cover today. Though it was a 3 GLC tournament week at Full Group Games. We had our regular Thursday night. We had a bonus Friday night. Then we had the season 3 invitational on Sunday. So we have a lot to cover, and we're gonna go over the invitational first, then maybe go back to the GLC League nights from the previous week. After that, because I mean the invitational is where all the juicy details are. It's the most
Mhm.
recent thing. You probably watched some of it on Tricky Jim's stream, hosted by Alec and Jack. So if you haven't watched, go back and watch. Really fun tournament, fun to play in, and congrats to our very own John Patterson for getting second place. So great job, man.
Thank you, thank you. A list that we were, really originally your list that we spent kind of a whole day working on together on Saturday. You were playing it, kicking my butt. I was playing, different decks, and it was like, dang, this thing is just like functioning and doing well. So, I was happy I was able to kind of work with you on that, tweak it a little bit, and then take it to a pretty decent finish. Obviously, this is the tournament that like it's kind of the all or nothing. Like you really want first place at this more than anything else.
Yeah,
But runner ups, not the worst thing in the world.
I am happy to hear. I was happy to hear afterwards that you did get something because I genuinely thought you got nothing, which
Yeah,
sucks.
I would have been honestly so much more bummed, but there was not only a trophy card for the winner, but there was a trophy card for the finalists. So shout out Natalie for not, Natalie and Andrew for providing the prizing, which was a booster box and the promo cards, the promo trophy cards for this, because they turned out really well, and I'm happy to have mine in my collection now.
Absolutely. So that's at least makes it sting a little less. But I know, yeah, being right there at the finals and losing to none other than Alex. I mean,
Yes.
what's the worst outcome? You know?
I'm watching. He was, he was in. he started off, I think 1-2, I think was his record, and
Yes.
he kept saying he's like, "Oh, I'm, one away from being out," and he slowly worked his way all the way up to asymmetrical cut, and then made it top four. And I'm watching him do this as because I was almost top seed going into top cut.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it a little later, but I decided to play out my last round at top seed or top cut. Undefeated record, and to kind of manipulate things in my favor a little bit. But yeah, Alex just kind of just barely squeaking into top cut and then just all the way to the finals to win. I mean, that's if that's not the definition of plot armor, I don't know what
Dude,
is.
I know. Can he just please like top 8 a 3K already? Like, we can't keep saying how good he is at locals and then everyone
Mhm.
shows up to the 3Ks and nobody believes us.
Truly a local legend. Emphasis on the local.
No, but he had a fantastic run. Like a lot of his games were streamed. He was playing great. You know, back to back 2-0s against Brooke and then Chase in the top 8 and then the top 4. So, extremely dominant and impressive performances against very strong players. And, he obviously deserved it. So, congrats, Alex, once again for becoming the champion. 2-time GLC Invitational champion, 3-time GLC regular season champion. Literally, no other local has won anything
Yes.
outside
Yeah, if
of
you're keeping track, folks, that is every single one of them.
yes, all the like local level events. Alex has won every single one. Okay, so he's the goat. All right, he's the local goat, and schedule your appointment at the petting zoo, bro. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, it was a fun day. Okay, we have now an annual tradition. It's happened twice. Okay, second annual GLC
Yes.
Invitational, where we encourage everybody to dress up, get formal. Here's us, the crew, as well as all of the rest of the competitors in the field. We had 20 players. It being the season 3 Invitational, only people who have won a badge for the past season are invited to play with a deck of the type of a type that they won a badge with. So that's why our meta that we'll get to was very centralized, because a lot of people didn't have a choice in what they played. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and
I mean,
of 23 players that qualified, 20 of them making it out. So,
yeah,
a large percentage of everybody showing up was good to see.
yes, yeah, yeah. No, that definitely. I was surprised that we only missed 3, so including
Mhm.
people coming from out of town. So, uh,
Yeah.
we only missed Spence and Cameron and Sean. So, it was a great turnout and a lot of
Mhm.
fun. And best dressed, I don't know. My vote would go Hunter. Brooke,
Yeah,
maybe second place.
you're covering him up there a little bit, but Hunter had a real nice Western outfit on.
It was fire.
Um, Yeah, Brooks looks good. If for some reason you didn't see the solar eclipse that happened on stream, in the back there, JD with the enormous cowboy hat, it was funny. He was playing on stream, and I told him like you got to tilt the hat back a little bit because it's probably going to be in the way of the stream. But you look at the stream and it was like poking on. He'd like lean forward a little bit, and you'd see the brim of his hat just starting to eclipse the entire board.
That's so funny. Yeah, nah, everyone
Oh yeah.
came out in their best gear, of course, including Carpenter in his Snorlax costume. I feel like now it's like it's going to be a superstition. If he doesn't wear it next year and he loses, it's because he didn't wear it. So he has to wear it.
Yeah,
Assuming he
it's the
gets a
lucky
badge
wax.
this year, right?
True, it hasn't
Anything
happened yet.
anything can happen. Um, but yeah, no, it was overall a fun time. These were those prizes that John mentioned. We've got for first place the Pitch Black booster box alongside a custom stamped full grip champion floatstone promo card that Natalie was kind enough to create, and the janky second place Sasuian heavy ball. Uh, where, I
Makes
mean,
me love it It makes me love it more, actually.
It's so awesome.
Natalie was like apologizing, showing us these, and she's like, yeah. She's like, I almost wasn't gonna give it, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, GLC players love jank cards, like
Oh
cards
yeah.
that look funny or messed up. I literally, she offered up, or she said that the store got in a Goose Holla at one point that had the number for the amount of bulk that was in the box written on the front of it, and there were several of us that were just like, "Yeah, I'll buy
Please,
that," and I ended
please.
up with it. I bought it. Yeah, I was like, "Give me the bulk Goose Holla."
Yes, of course. But yeah, if
So
you
yeah, I love that it screwed up. It looks awesome. Happy
yeah,
to have it.
yeah. It's hardly, I mean, it's just the stamp. If you can't see, the stamp is a little high on the art of the card, but yeah, it says 2026 finalist, Hisuian heavy ball. So John got to go home with that. And yeah, everyone else got nothing for a free tournament. So
Yep.
no
It was an all
no
or
harm,
nothing
no
tournament.
foul. But yeah, so congrats to Alex and John for winning those dope prizes. Here we've got the type breakdown for all 20 players at the tournament. Kind of no surprise that it was dominated by psychic and fighting, with a small pool of colorless players. And then from there, we had a few lone representatives on water, metal, and dragon. I think Kai has two badges, right? Um,
Yes, he had um
Fighting.
fighting as well. Yeah, he had
Yeah.
fighting as well.
So Kai played water, powerful Squall Blastoise, though his second option would have been fighting. He opted to play water. Craig, our lone metal representative, that was the only badge he had on a Copperaja Archaludon build. And Lee Hoffman on the Turbo Blaze Dragon deck. That again, that was his lone badge option as well. Um, but from of the, I mean, their big pool of fighting, there's 6 players on fighting. A large portion of those were people who could only play fighting. I believe,
I think it was five. I was just trying to remember this number. I think it was maybe five of them. Maybe one
yeah,
person that had
Peacock,
a choice
Peacock,
opted in.
Peacock has more than one badge, right? Or did he only have one?
No, he only had one because he
Let's
was got
reference.
fighting and then was trying for psychic
That's right.
for the longest time and just yeah never managed to get it.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's very interesting to me.
it was the only the lone. Oh, it was Hooper that could have had. Hooper
He could
could
have
have
played
played Dragon,
dragon.
but opted to play
Yes.
fighting. So 5 of the 6 fighting players had no choice but to play fighting. And so for the people wondering why it's so top heavy psychic, it's because we knew so many people could only play fighting that it was in our best interest to then play psychic to counter the fighting that was guaranteed to be there. So that's like, obviously psychic is considered BDIF, if not, you know, right up there with maybe colorless right now. Um, so it might have been more split if it was a wide open event and we knew there might not be so many fighting players per se. Um, but I don't know. I mean, what is your take on that? Like,
Yeah, I said on the last pod like I really like this style of events because it makes you think about preparing for the event differently and looking at all those numbers of what people could play. Um, And you're right, like, yeah, it's like Psychic just seemed like the play when so many people were you were guaranteed to hit these matchups. If you're ever going into like people prepping for like regionals and stuff, and someone's like, hey, you know, look at what's happening at Worlds. Like, they're like, hey, we're looking at maybe 40% of the field's going to be Dragapult. It kind of like influences your play. Like this is more set in stone, and these people had to play these types. But it's like when you know what the meta is going to be like, you're able to like make those calls a lot better for what you're going to play.
yeah,
And so like you'll see like one of the newer colorless proximity decks coming out here. I imagine this number would have been a good bit higher if people could play anything they wanted to because that's just it's proving to be such a strong deck right now. But 2 of these 3 badges were earned when proximity Toucannon wasn't even out yet. So these were just different styles of colorless that have because you didn't have to play the exact deck that you played when you earned your badge. You got to play the type, and so you rebuild it into all these people that played colorless. So I think it was Dylan on he won his badge with control. Andrew on Proximity won his badge, and then who else was on? Hunter won
Hunter.
with Crazy Code. So it was just like, um, yeah, kind of the culmination of the year, and it's just like it's a vacuum of a meta. Like Ben said, it's not like this isn't indicative of the meta as a whole. It's just like what people played this year and earned badges with, and what the meta was going to look like at this specific event.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm sure a lot of the fighting players would have loved to not have to play fighting because of all of us playing psychic, but they had no choice, right? And so if they were able to switch to something like colorless to deal with the psychic, that would have made also me second guess playing psychic myself. I might have switched
Hmm.
to colorless in the face of a larger pool of colorless, to keep tempo. Um, but I mean, I expected to play 2, 3 fighting decks at least in the tournament, which I did. I ended up playing 3 fighting matchups and 3 psychic matchups. Um, and you know, had I chosen to play colorless or fighting, I would have been much more worried into those fighting matchups. So that's why, I found I would recommend to us, to me, John and Tony, that we should play
Hmm.
psychic, and why we all thought it was kind of like the best play. It's like, you know, you might only hit one colorless, maybe zero. I didn't play against any of the colorless. John did.
Hmm.
Played against Andrew twice, in Swiss and in Top Cut. Um, did you play against Hunter Dylan as well?
No, no, I didn't play against either of them. It was just Andrew.
Yeah. So
My matchups were, I think it was definitely 3 fighting. I'm sitting here struggling to remember what my day was. I think there might have been 4 fighting and then like a psychic and
I
a
mean, you played
colorless
against
for the
me,
6
which is one
rounds.
psychic, and you played
Oh
against
yeah, I put yeah.
Andrew.
Okay.
Um, you played against Hooper on fighting.
Yeah, I
Um,
know it was Hoop, Vince, and JD, and you and Andrew, and I can't remember who the 6th person was. So mystery type.
mystery type. Was it Vincent?
No, Vincent was one of them I just said.
Oh,
So yeah.
round one was Vincent, right?
Yeah, it was Vincent, and then it was Hoop, and then it was JD, I think, and then
No,
you, and then
no.
no,
You played JD after me. I played JD round 4. I played you round 5.
that's right. And then Andrew round 6. So I'm missing like round 3,
No,
I
no, no.
think. And
Wait.
that is what I'm missing.
You played JD right after me, so
I did. So that would have been I played you round 4, JD round 5,
yes,
Andrew round 6. So
correct.
I don't know. I played someone else playing psychic or fighting. I don't think I played. Yeah, I didn't play any of the waters fighting or metal or dragons. I
Yeah.
should have written this down, but
All this to be
I forget
said,
where we were.
large majority of our matches were fighting, and in order to hopefully have the best placement at the end of Swiss, we wanted to just take that the favored matchup, to take those wins when we
Hmm.
can get them, and knowing Psychic can perform well into everything else anyways, just felt like the right choice. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at. But we did break down the archetypes here. There were 8 psychic decks, 3 of them being the Deoxys Cleffa no monkey build. That was me, John, and Tony. Deoxys with monkey. That was Fran and Brooke. The Ted Topin Frillish deck. That was Tony and Chase. And then Monkey Tina. No Deoxys, no
Alex and
blindside.
Chase. You
What did
said
I
Tony and
say?
Chase. Ted
Oh,
Tobin
yeah,
was
I said
Alex and
Alex and
Chase.
Chase for Tobin.
Hmm.
Then the Monkey Tina, no multi-price shenanigans beyond that. That was Chris Harsh. Um, and then for fighting, there was 3 Barbie-Yama, 1 RDT, 1 Drill Mill, and 1 like Machamp Barbie-Yama deck, which was Vincent. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much everybody. We have everybody here as well on the standings. Uh, you know, so Alex Carpenter first place, as we said on that Frillish Deoxys. John second, Chase third, Andrew fourth, and then Brooke at fifth, being in that ASIM cut spot that Brooke ended up losing to Alex. So that was our standings from the GLC Season 3 Invitational. And what do you, anything to add here, John?
Just our predictions of why we played Psychic coming to fruition here. pretty close to equal, fighting in purple decks, and the purple decks rose to the top. Andrew in there, probably feasting on the psychic decks, having a good shot into the, um, you know, fighting decks as well. So just really what the types you expect to see here, for sure, along with the players. Alex Carpenter, Brooke, Andrew Chase. I'll throw myself in there, sure, but
Yeah, you earned it. You earned it.
yeah,
Um, and then
but just the
me,
yeah.
yeah, me and JD at sixth and seventh place with one tie to each other. If either one of us had another win, we would have been in that ASIM or top cut spot as well. So, um, yeah, I mean, solid. You could see like a lot of the fightings did fall down below that. JD was the highest placing fighting on the control version of the deck, which honestly was really strong. He beat Tony. He tied with me. Did end up losing to John, but that's just a. It was really strong. Like his deck was crazy. We'll get to the deck lists. I'll talk more about it in a minute. But yeah, but for everyone who I saw like online during the stream and like on my Twitter post who are like kind of upset seeing about how centralized it was around Psychic for this event. Um, it's very like we've said, it's just such a vacuum of an event, very unique. It's not open. It's not a 3K, so it doesn't have like an open field of a lot more people to play a lot of different types. Um, Obviously, it's not like a weekly badge race either, where people have badges and are playing different types. So it's just not like a super accurate picture of the GLC meta. And I just want to hammer that home, like for everyone saying like they were sick of watching psychic mirrors all day, or well, first of all, with that, like the psychic mirrors were super fun to watch. For the most part, like those were some
Hmm.
crazy games between Brooke and Alex, between you and Alex. Um, those were some good sets of back and forth with unique deck lists and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you have to
If
say
these
to the
top
haters?
types, if these top types, like there's a lot, yes, it's centralized at the top, and like we're saying, you're right to hammer home that point that it's not indicative of the meta as a whole. But like you can look at this and say like, well, these kind of are the best decks, and like that is true because that's what people were playing and winning with. So it's like it's a little bit of it's like a distorted reflection of the meta.
This is what
Um,
people think are the best types, and
yes.
yeah.
Um,
So
but if it wasn't for, you know, the format wouldn't be fun if these types weren't fun to play against each other and the mirrors and that sort of thing. And they're fun. Like even like the ASIM match that was streamed was no, not the ASIM, the top four match between Alex and Chase that was streamed. It was a 60 card mirror, and it's just like still a really interesting matchup. Just the ins and outs of who you're attacking with, what Pokemon you're putting down, when you're playing, your Perilicity versus theirs, or there's so much just like play in between these decks, and I think it just makes it really, even though it like on the surface level you're like, oh yeah, it's purple, of course, like it's like no, those like matchups are still really interesting and fun to play, and like that's who cares if the meta's centralized if the game's fun? Like that's
yeah,
kind of where I'm at.
yeah. In standard, the meta is centralized and the game's not fun. So
Yeah, yeah, it's they aren't mutually exclusive things. Like they can be, yeah, exactly. It can be different.
yeah, no, but as to your point, like yeah, the mirror between Chase and Axe was super interesting. Like Chase did have some unfortunate prizing where he prized Curlia in both matches against the Carpenter, but even still, it kind of didn't go exactly the way you'd expect. So the game plan with this deck with Frillish is, I mean, very reliant on Frillish. Like that's like their whole thing is they wanna. If they're not frillishing, they're using Smoochum to just power up Deoxys as fast as possible. So that's like the two game modes basically. And so in game one of the set, they both got into Frillish, and Chase ended up, kind of having the more dominant Frillish, what have you, where
Mhm.
he took the first prize with Frillish, continued to item lock while he was allowed to play items, but you might expect Chase to be able to like take control from that standpoint, but it was actually kind of the opposite. Like the fact that Alex went down earlier was able to like power up Deoxys quicker, even under item lock, like really it was a game of cat and mouse of who was going to swing with Deoxys, because like Alex was seemed like he would get Deoxys up sooner, but was still item locked, and Chase was trying to power up his Deoxys um, while still item locking, and then they got like Lux capes on their Deoxys, so it's like now it's like a cat and mouse. Like, do I swing and hit the Deoxys with the Lux cape? And it was just like a really interesting match to watch. Like, I'd highly recommend it because, uh, like, I was trying to get into their mind of like when is like the right moment to strike, and it just like it really just felt like whoever was swinging with Deoxys first, uh,
Yeah.
with the Lux, like with the Lux cape on, was just in a very just strong position. Though you could easily counter that given the right cards in hand. So it also depends like if you parallel them at the right time and am able to take out like a keyboard support Pokemon at the same time. There's just a lot going on. Yeah, I can't even
It's
recall
like a
everything that went on, but it was
It's like the mirror feels like a rock paper scissors game, except there's like 20 different options. It's like, like rock paper scissors, cannon, electricity. Like I don't know, just like a bunch of different things. It's like if you do this, then I'll do this. But if you do that, then I'll. It just like it really does feel like chess, where you're like thinking like a bunch of turns ahead and like what you're trying to do. I think the item lock is like really what makes it the item lock that it's like damaging really makes it interesting because it's like you're trying to keep them item locked without like being the first one to take the knockout, because if you're the first one to take a knockout and go up in prizes, you're going to get Deoxys, and so like that immediate two prize turn coming back at you is like so scary, and so there's just like so much to like work around and think about
yeah,
in these mirrors.
yeah, and you're also like putting damage on their board for them to use Monkey Dory if they're able to establish Monkey Dory.
Hmm.
Um, and you do play 30 HP Smoochum, 60 HP Mew, so you have a lot of people susceptible to the Monkey Dory. So it's just like a super. It was just a super deep gameplay that I was watching or trying. I wasn't like completely locked in the whole time as I was like driving with my wife, but
Yeah.
I was like trying to follow it, and it really just felt like I could not predict what was going to happen. I could not like turn to turn like
Hmm.
for the first like 5 to 7 turns of the game where they're doing this like cat and mouse. I was like, this could go either way. Like, who knows? Like, Alex might draw this off of his Curlia right now, and that will enable him to get the Deoxys off sooner. And if or if you do you want to put your Deoxys up before you can parallel, because then it's like pretty much guaranteed that you know a Deoxys will very easily come back at you and could parallel you in return as well. So it's just like at that point you're in a worse position. So it's just like there's just a lot of labels. And then so Alex did swing with his Deoxys first and did target Chase's Deoxys with the Lux Cape. So his Deoxys had 120, which meant that Alex didn't go ahead in prizes. So now Chase also his counter energy still not active, so there's like a benefit for Alex not taking an extra knockout. Um, but then Chase was able to move damage off of the Deoxys, so now he can't KO it with Field Blower as well. And so now the Deoxys is kind of safe to tank another hit before giving up multiple prizes or going down.
Hmm.
So his Deoxys is still very much in play despite Alex using it or targeting it early. And then you have to wonder, like, should Alex have just taken a prize when he could have? So there's just like all these different like mind
That's
games
what that
going on.
was in the finals match that I played Alex, like in like one or two of our games. I think like mainly the first one. He like frillished forever, and he was just like, gosh, I really don't think I should have been frillishing that long. Like figuring out when to break the frillish lock and like I'm far enough ahead now and my board's set up enough that I'm going to go in now is like such a hard decision to make, because you're like, I don't know what, even like my our decks wasn't the same as this. It wasn't a mirror, but like we had still had the same potential to Deoxys. So it's just like you never know when you want to let up on that item lock. And I mean that's just such a skill in itself to identify when you can start going aggressive and you're established enough.
Yeah. So Yeah, this deck definitely showed up between Chase and Alex, and obviously Alex took it home. Frillish did a ton of work into each of us. I lost to Chase in the winning into top cut, uh, in large part due to the Frillish locking and some unfortunate prizing. Um, and he 6-0'd me on stream. I just got absolutely destroyed. I had nothing. I had nothing that whole game. It was terrible,
Mhm.
and a large part of that was because of the Frillish, of course. So
Yeah.
uh, he was cooking me with Frillish, and then make. I didn't get to watch closely his match with Brooke, but um, I believe Frillish played a large part in that as well. Um,
Mhm.
Frillish is, yeah, especially in this build with the Monkey Dory, no Iron Boulder. Um, you're just very focused on this game plan of Frillishing, and we'll talk later. Chase also won his badge at one of our at the bonus league night on Friday before Sunday. So there was two of the tournaments won by this Frillish deck,
Yeah, I
back to
think
back.
he posted his record in the Discord between like two league nights and this. I think he said he was like 17-3-1 or something
Yeah, something
crazy
like
like
that.
that. 17-4-1. Like really, really impressive record across multiple several games.
Yeah. So they made a great call in playing the deck, and I convinced you to not play the deck.
Correct. I was trying out a slightly different variation of the deck. I got back to my first league night was the Friday one that we'll talk about here a little bit later, but played a little bit alternate version of the Ted Tobin list that I was trying out with. I just I think especially after playing this list, Galeta is Supreme, but I was trying out the Guardy, the uh,
Shining Arcana.
what's the ability? Shining Arcana, Gardevoir, just as a kind of different way to, uh, cheat energy into play maybe a little bit and also just have some onboard draw instead of support or search. I mean, they both have their merits in different ways, but I was playing that with like Cypher Maniac, and then instead of the Smoochum, I was playing a Blacephalon. So just like a little different way to go about the build. But I was playing that into Ben. I was asking for some games on Saturday, and I was just getting my butt kicked by, what pretty similar to what we came to in this version of this list. Um, and so I was like, all right, let's just run this into some other stuff. Played it into some the other expected things, some colorless, some fighting, and it performed. So uh, me, you, and almost Tony ended up on the same 60. Tony was one card off, um, but yeah, this is what we ended up on. Ben's philosophy that he's been pushing for a little while now has been um, uh, monkey in this economy, really. Basically, like getting when you're not playing like Frillish and like slowing down the game and like the Ted Tobin style build, it's like getting that attachment onto monkey and like using monkey efficiently, it just like you don't have it's not happening that often. Like when you're trying to stream attackers, when D Valley got banned, you lost that seventh way to cheat energy that Psychic has. And so it's just like a little bit harder for things to handle. So it's just like, all right, let's just make the list as consistent as possible. And Ben, after playing it at League and kind of bricking for a little while, wanted to add the addition of the Cleffa into the list. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the that?
Yeah. So I mean, at League, I was still playing the monkey build. So I had not played no monkey at all until
Oh, you
this.
tried this for the first time when we were playing it. I didn't know
Yes.
that. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought I wasn't at League, so I thought this was what you played.
No, no, no. This
Okay.
was brand new. I've always been kind of a monkey hater. My favorite psychic deck in recent months, and I've said, I don't know if I've said it on the pod, but to everybody else, I think Brooke and the Pittsburgh Crews, their psychic deck with Monkey Tina, Deoxys, Gallade, kind of like the no frillish, no frills build of Psychic, but still playing,
No frill.
Tropical Beach and Mystery Garden.
Yeah.
That's been my favorite way to play Psychic. I think that, and it's just been proven to be so consistent and strong at all the 3Ks from their group that, and I don't test Psychic enough to like really come up with any new combinations or opinions or anything because I wasn't at the last 3K. and we've been in the other badge season, so I have had no need to actually like test anything. That's just I was just like,
Mhm.
that's the most proven psychic deck. So like, I don't until I like see otherwise, until the Tobin deck actually wins something, which it does now. You know, I would consider that the best psychic deck. So, but at League, I was playing it this past week, and uh, with a slight variation, I had Wobbuffet in there, kind of similar to what Connor Chiappetta won from our previous episode. But I put Mystery Garden back in. Uh, so very, very close to Brooke's previous list. And I just like, I ended up not drawing supporter like 3 of my 5 rounds for multiple turns. And I was using Filch with Mimikyu over and over and over. And I did make major comebacks in a lot of those games against fighting. I would go down 3, 4 prizes, and I would still come back and win because of how powerful the deck is. But it was like so close on a razor's edge. I was like down 5-1 prizes against Peter, who was playing a fighting deck, and all it took was like a parallel stamp, you know, KO on a key thing that couldn't take a return KO onto my attacker, and then just kind of like repeat that and switch around as needed to until Peter just didn't draw out of it, couldn't bench new attackers, and I didn't even take 6 prizes. I just like cleared his whole board.
Mhm.
So like the deck is extremely powerful at doing that, but it was so frustrating. I'm like, why am I making this so hard on myself to get into the game when I know that if I just get into the game, it would be so easy to beat these dang fighting decks.
Mhm.
Um, so that was like, I've always loved Cleffa, but that was like
Yeah.
the nail in the coffin going into the Invitational, and like knowing there was going to be a bunch of fighting decks, but wanting to play Psychic. I'm like, I believe this matchup is free if you just like are able to play a supporter and set up your board early,
Mhm.
especially with Deoxys. So I'm just gonna play Cleffa. They're probably gonna play Tinglu. I do not care if they get a free prize on Cleffa because I've made comebacks from 4 prizes behind. The one extra prize with Cleffa is not gonna matter if I set up. So
Mhm.
that was like the main thing driving it. I tweeted out on Friday, like after Thursday night, like I'm putting Cleffa back in the deck. And gosh darn it, I put Cleffa back in the deck, and then me and John tested all day Saturday, and Cleffa just was carrying the team. I was in every single
Yeah.
game, like not that I was destroying John every single game necessarily. Like he would
Mhm.
also get into games, but I had no issue getting into games at all. And once you get into the game, you know, psychic decks can take you any which way between, well timed Hex Maniacs, Parallel Cities, and Deoxys attacks. So, and
Mhm.
that's independent of Monkey Dory, Giratina shenanigans. Obviously, those are incredibly strong, but I, like John said, like sometimes you don't have the opportunity to get the dark on Monkey in like the way you want it, and Giratina sometimes can't clear, an attacker you want to clear. Yada yada yada. There's all these things that I just like are personal gripes that I wish
Mhm.
didn't exist with the Monkey Tina package. So I really wanted to go back to straight psychic. I'm a no sauce psychic believer, but now it's even better because the no sauce psychic deck has Deoxys. So
Mhm.
it's basically you have sauce again.
Yeah, Deoxys, it's a one card sauce,
It's a
like
one
you
card
don't
sauce.
need you don't need a bunch of other stuff. You don't need dark energies, you don't need a blind side, you don't need like whatever other funny thing. Like it's just Deoxys. You just slap him in there with the stuff that you're already playing.
Yeah.
And it just feels so good because it's like there's your two prize mechanic. Like it feels like every deck needs a 2 for 1, and you can just slap it in with one card with Deoxys.
Yeah. So my thought process was like, if I'm doing psychic mirrors with people playing Monkey Dory, like I don't care, like, similar to the Tinglu, it's like I don't care if I have Cleffa on board and they take a KO on it on Monkey Dory with whatever. It's like at some point I'm gonna have like a hex or a stamp or a parallel city or a gust that negates either negates them from being able to afford to keep Monkey on bench, or uh, is enough for me to like take enough of a lead with Deoxys that like it doesn't really matter if Monkey's on board, and I can like scoop up net things, you know. So I was just like, there are routes. Not saying I'm not, you know, I'm not claiming that this deck will always beat Monkey Dory, because it obviously will not. Uh, Monkey Dory is incredibly strong. I'm just saying like there are routes to not do it, and I was just feeling like I wanted to just get into the game. So yeah, no dark package, no Monkey Tina. Um, we played, you know, kind of a light basic attacking lineup between Deoxys, Boulder, Cresselia, and Zacian.
Mhm.
And we were like, that's all you need. You have some extra space. We have room to play. Silent Lab, and what else were we playing? We played both Mystery and Telepathic and Capture Energy.
Yeah.
Um,
The
and
Poke Gear was very nice. So
yep,
many times being like, again, just like getting that supporter to play in the game, and you're like, well, I have Mew active, and you're like, gosh, I hope I hit Poke Gear, and I was hitting Poke Gear like a lot off of Mew, and then just like finding a supporter to play the game. So just so many cards that are just like the let me play the game
yeah,
cards. You know, felt really nice. Capture and Telepath. That's something I'm just like
yeah,
a big fan of in Psychic now.
yeah,
You know, ever since it was, I think it was Mike Gibbs' list that like played both of them. I was like, yeah,
yeah.
that's like honestly redundancy feels good when you've got something like Hilda and Goose Hall. It makes those cards feel so much better when one's prized, you have the other still available to you.
Absolutely. And I liked, you know, because I love Beach, and if I was playing, you know, Brooks' list, you know, obviously Beach is like kind of a non-negotiable. Um, I would say it's still a non-negotiable if I wasn't playing Cleffa. Like if I wasn't playing Cleffa, Beach would 100% be in there. But on Thursday,
Hmm.
I had Beach in there and I wasn't finding it, you know. So Cleffa is just easier to search, and I like that. In thinking of potentially doing Psychic Mirrors at the Invitational, I liked that I could get into the game with Cleffa and have the effect of Beach without giving my psychic opponent Beach, which, if you watch
Hmm.
round one of the Invitational, you'd see play out where Carpenter ended his turn, you know, ended his turn one with two cards in hand and started using Smoochum, while I used Cleffa and drawed out of, you know, I didn't
Hmm.
have a dead hand, but I used Cleffa anyways and drew extra cards and just like swept him, and he never drew out of it. And I was joking with him. I was like, if that Smoochum was a Cleffa right now, you'd be in this game, like
Yeah.
like no question.
Battle of the Babies.
Yeah. So like, obviously he ended up winning the tournament. So, you know, Psychic will have those moments where it bricks, and of course, even with Cleffa, you could brick too. But uh, it just felt really good to kind of never be in that position. So yeah, my
Yeah.
losses were to you, the mirror, which was kind of a crazy mirror in and of itself. Similar like cat and mouse, though you kind of ran away with it
Yeah,
after
I
a
was gonna
little
say
bit.
it was. I feel like it was more of me hitting just like literally everything that I needed
I mean,
every turn.
you for sure hit everything. You hit a Guzma on my Deoxys early, you know, without Gallade in play. So then
Hmm.
Your Guzma was down, and I had like disrupted your hand, and even without again, I was like, okay, surely I set up, I
Hmm.
recovered Deoxys, started attaching to it again,
Yes,
and of course, like he had found his Versus Seeker in that
Versus
hand
Seeker.
to
Yeah.
Guzma again, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And then I get Deoxys out again,
Hmm.
and then I mess up because I didn't have Wondrous Patch in the deck. So yeah, I ended up never taking a prize because my whole game plan was I have to Deoxys, because like
Yeah, when you're behind, you have to go with that, and if
yeah,
it keeps getting disrupted, then there's nothing
yeah.
you can do.
So, anyways, my one loss was to the same deck, and then my other loss was to Chase, where the prizes were just horrible, and he, you know, I couldn't get into Cleffa, I couldn't retreat into Cleffa early because I didn't find energy or a tool on my Zacian that I started, and then I prized a piece of all three of my evolution lines. So I was just never gonna get into that game. Uh, so those are my two losses. But John, you took it obviously a lot farther. You were 5-0 in Swiss.
Hmm.
Do you want to? I mean, you can talk about how the deck felt getting to that spot, and then
Mhm.
the funny story with Andrew, I guess.
Yeah. So no, it felt great getting to that spot. The first two, I played fighting, my first two rounds, and it went exactly how you hoped it would go. I had probably like the best possible line happening in my game against Jack Hooper. Like he knocked out my Cleffa into just like Raihan counter energy, like Deoxys, like boom, go off, like wipe his board, and he was like out of the game. So it's just like it does exactly what you want it to into the fighting decks and stuff. Um, the colorless matchup's like a little scarier. I played Andrew. So Andrew was the final round of Swiss that I played, and I was undefeated. I was the top. I was the only undefeated, and so I would have been the top seed. Um, but seeding for this was a little different. In Top Cut, seeding was going to be done by the number of badges that you had. So there really wasn't any incentive for me to ID and just like take the top seed because I wouldn't technically be top. I would guarantee top seed, but it's not based off of like your resistance, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So what would
Like,
happen in your match with
mhm,
Andrew? Win, loss, or tie, you'd be seated
mhm.
higher than Andrew. Was the position you were
Yes.
in.
hmm
So
And so I could have tied and guaranteed that I would have been the top seed, but Andrew was playing colorless, the proximity deck, and I don't like that matchup very much. That's a matchup that I don't feel like this deck is. I think it's not like weak into it, but like I think proximity has the favored matchup there. And so my thought was, well, if I beat Andrew, I'm going to send him down into asymmetrical cut, and maybe someone else can beat him, so I don't have to play him in top cut. Um, and so Andrew's like, "You and ID?" I'm like, "Nah, man, we're gonna play this thing out." and and so he had to sit down with me and play the game, and he kicked my butt in that game and just kind of ran me over. And then what this did do, it super backfired on me because instead of not having to play Andrew again in Top Cut, I was guaranteed to because I paired into him. Because Chase, having more badges than me and the same record, took the first seed, and then I think I was second and Andrew was third, and so like we paired into each other. So I was like, oh great, this backfired. And then my top four match against Andrew. The first game, super interesting. Andrew uh, got up to, I think he had a massive hand. I think it was lilies. He like got fan rotom out lilies, searched with fan rotom, so he had like a massive hand. Then I marnied him into basically nothing, and was like started powering up my boulder. And he had like nothing, and so he played down his hand, and then the last card in hand, or like whatever was left in his hand, like wasn't helpful to him. So at that point, you're like, well, he didn't have any draw set up other than Squove it. And so he's like, well, I'll just Squove it into something that also wasn't useful, and like played that down. So he had a 0 card hand. And because I was powering up Boulder, and he's like, okay, go ahead and match that. And I was like, I think I can do it. And so I go and I thin down. I have like letter and like a bunch of expendable stuff in my hand. I do have to like be a little risky. I'm like, I can't do it with this. I do have to refinement, hit something off the refinement that I needed, and was able to pare down the whole hand, get Boulder into the active, and then the last card I had in hand, the supporter I had to play was Hex Maniac. And so
dude,
I hexed him going into that next one, which is like he didn't have any draw set up, but it was like insult to injury. It was like I took the knockout and hex, so he couldn't even nest stash that card away if it was something he didn't want. So
dude.
it was insane, dude. And then I got pretty fortunate in the second game because just in our setting up, I was slowly powering up Deoxys, and at no point was he ever able to find Gust. And I eventually got the Deoxys attack off and sort of ran away with the game from there. So went from very scared of the matchup, so much so that I wanted to play it out, lost to it, paired into it again, and then 2-0'd it. So really
Beast.
weird series of events there into the proximity deck against Andrew. So he definitely got a little unlucky.
Yeah. And you got into the final, and then you had to wait for the ASIM and the top four match to conclude to play that final
Yes.
match. Um, but then it ended up being Carpenter, and I didn't get to watch much of that. So, I mean, give us the highlights.
So, um, Game one went super long, like so long. Alex got set up and was like item locking me like pretty much out of the game, and I was like playing supporters. My turn one was um, I Hilda'd for my Curlia and like the telepath to get set up, and then I knew I was gonna get item locked, so I treasured for my um, Zatu. And so I have both those in hand, and he top decks Iono, and Iono's me, and then item locks me. I'm like, cool, never gonna see those guys again. And I
Really?
proceeded to not, even after playing like shuffle draw supporters. Like I played like a Lilies and just like didn't find him or anything like that. The game was going on super long. He had a super dominating board position, but this is the game where I mentioned that he was like, did I Frillish too long or too long? Because he just like kept item locking me when he could have come up. Like he got Deoxys powered up, like could have Deoxys like sooner, but just like decided not to like play it like a little safer, kind of like fearing that I could maybe fire back. And it went on for so long that I was like, I could have scooped the game, but like 90 minutes is such a long time for these games.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll just kind of like, I can hang it out. Like I know how to play quickly and like get through the next two if, or get through the next one quicker if I need to. And it got so much to the point where I was like, okay, I think his board state, he's going to win, but his deck was so small. He only had like a few cards left in deck. And I look and his Iono's down and his Versus Seeker's down. And that's the only way other than, which I didn't think of at the time and I should have scooped because unless it was like the last prize card or something, the Rescue Stretcher could throw 3 Pokemon back in. So
Mm.
like he would have decked out if it wasn't for Rescue Stretcher, but he still had the Rescue Stretcher. So I was like, it ended up being like a super long game one. Like it was like a crazy amount of time. Game two, uh, Alex is kind of in top deck mode to start, and I'm just like I'm doing decent and stuff. So he's playing it out, and like top decks are research, and like is still playing and stuff. And I'm getting Deoxys powered up, and eventually get Deoxys off, and like he just scoops pretty quickly after that, so we can go to the next game. And then the final game is where I feel like I definitely could have made a decision that would have got me in a better spot to win. Alex wasn't item locking, but he was. I think he was smooching to Deoxys, and which is just kind of equally as terrifying because he has a decently small hand, and I have like a very large hand with not much to play out of it, and Boulder is like my attacker that I'm trying to use. And I am kind of in top deck mode, just like not able to piece the attacks together because like he smoochums twice in a row, and it's after that second smooch, and then I'm like, okay, I really need to get something together. And like I said, he's not item locking me, so I get Pokepad, and I have Curlia in play, and I have Inkay and Natu, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get. I just like didn't even think about like Gallade being an option. I think my only supporter in hand. I don't think I had a supporter in hand that like could have hand matched. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get Zatu was my first thought, and Zatu was prize. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll get Malamar, and I was just like, no, you grab Galate. I was after the fact. I was talking to like JD and like the guys who were casting, and they're like, could you have hand matched there? And I was like, yeah, I needed to get like Marnie or Iono, and then just like play it and then do that.
Yeah.
So it could have been a little different, but it was a little scary still, even if I did that, because he had Deoxys powered up, and I would have been attacking with Boulder that had 140 HP, but I would have just hand disrupted him out of his hand that like I said, was already low, and he would have had Deoxys powered up. So like finding Muscle Band was like not going to be impossible, and like he really could have. It also could have been bad for me. So
Yeah.
that was kind of what that game ended up coming down to was that he ran away with it from there, and was the champion, but. Um, so it goes.
Yeah. So it goes.
You live and you learn. Got lessons to take with me for next time.
Yeah.
Not a perfect GLC player.
No, I mean it's hard. It's a tough matchup,
Hmm.
and uh, we it doesn't go like this every time, of course, but in our testing day, you were playing the Frillish deck, slightly different.
Hmm.
Like you said, you were playing Gardevoir, um,
Yes.
but kind of going back to Cleffa, we're just like, Cleffa's hardly a liability, we felt, because they're pretty much always going to go for Frillish. And if they are going for Frillish and we go for Cleffa turn one, they're going to knock out Cleffa from Frillish attacking rather than like taking an extra prize with Monkey later. And one of the whole things with the Frillish deck is not only do you want to item lock early, you also want to go behind in prizes. because they play like
Mm,
counter catcher, they play counter energy. It like basically guarantee, after they've set up their board, they want to go down to like instantly do whatever they want with counter energy Deoxys. So that's like the whole thing. So we were like, Cleffa actually is helping us in this matchup because not only is it assisting us under item lock to, find our evolutions, uh, it's going down to Frillish, putting us behind in prizes, giving us the ability to like teammates, to Raihan, to get into Deoxys quicker
mm,
than they are. Or at least respond to the Frillish with like a decent attacker right away, while also not allowing their counter energy and their counter catcher to be active. So,
yeah.
um,
The the issue though, that the slight difference in the list I was playing that you're mentioning was that I did not have the Smoochum in the list, and so that's a really nice alternative when you don't want to knock out a Cleffa into the deck. So it's like that's wasn't something we were necessarily prepared for, and like
yeah,
another out that they had to be able to kind of be like, okay, well, I'm not going to knock you out. I'm just gonna, instead of slowing you go down, I'm going to speed myself up.
for sure. Yeah, there's so many different
So
lines you can
yeah,
take, and Smoochum definitely adds dimension that maybe we weren't ready for. We didn't play Mr. Mime, uh, you know, and and obviously, like they given different draws or anything, they could have gone either way between you and Alex as well. So
yeah,
nothing in this life is guaranteed. But we liked this list a lot, and we cooked it up the night before. And if
yeah,
you're interested in trying No Monkey Sidekick, I would highly recommend this. I do still think Cleffa is kind of goated right now. Like it felt so like to
for
me
sure.
that just felt like the best card. Every time I started a game and like Cleffa for 3 or more cards, I'm like, this is broken. Like everyone should play Cleffa.
Yeah.
And I was after Alex won, I'm like, how can I fit Cleffa into the Frillish deck? So uh,
Two babies.
I'm considering. I'm
Yeah.
considering. Uh,
Last couple, I do want to shout out like the couple of the auxiliary attackers, I guess, in the list that are the Cresselia and the Zacian. So this Cresselia is probably one of the other kind of interesting cards in the list. I think that like sticks out. This is one that I've been preaching for a long time. I was turned onto it by Hunter very early on after Dimension Valley rotated. Cresselia that for 3 psychic energy does 80 damage and 80 more if you flip over one of your prize cards. So it can do 160. And then the fact that it doesn't have a colorless in its cost, while it can get a little messy with things like the capture and the counter energy, it isn't really that much of a hindrance. So like this is kind of the spot that Necrozma would kind of occupy, having that requirement of the special energy attachment. But this is just like a little better because it also has the utility that the other crest has in that it can heal 20 damage off all your Pokemon for the first attack, not placing them on your opponent's board. But in this build, you're not really manipulating damage counters too much, so that's not necessarily going to yield something anyway. So a little bit of roll compression there and just like a pretty like just like a solid attacker. Again, you're not having to like, if you're able to get into it instead of Boulder first, you're not having to hand match while you're also trying to like set up Deoxys on the bench. Um, so like that's another added benefit to it.
yeah.
But so that's the Crest, and then the Zacian was we didn't have a fourth attack like basic attacker. Ben messages like late that night is like, I think we need a fourth. I think we need Mimikyu back in the list, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm game. And we get Filch back too. You were saying you were Filching all the time. Like we got Filch, we got Cleffa. Like again, we're playing the game. Sick. But then I was like, wait, but we're gonna play a bunch of fighting, and Mimikyu does absolutely nothing into fighting. It cannot knock out Ogie Dogie copying it. It cannot copycat like Sudowoodo. It can't copycat Solrock knock it out. It just like it knocks itself out if it copies Hariyama. It's so bad. And so I was like, I just told him, I was like, yeah, I think that spot needs to be Zacian. So again, that was a call for like this field, but like that's a consideration for that spot. Like again, Ben, you said if people were wanting to try out the list, that could, you could try Mimikyu there if you want to do that instead.
I think I would definitely. I was just about to say. I think I would definitely swap him to Mimikyu.
Hmm.
Looking back, like this deck feels so dominant into fighting that It doesn't even matter that Mimiky's not doing anything. Like
Hmm.
in my opinion, like Zacian's not till the end of the game anyways. So like half the game, Zacian's not even a good card.
Yeah.
So you're kind of playing with just 3 attackers anyways, and if you're able to take 3 prizes and even more with Deoxys, you're probably in a fine spot. So, uh,
Yeah.
but Mimikyu
Plus,
just
being able to copy Deoxys for 4 energy in the mirror is like insane.
that's what I was about to say. Like Mimikyu
Yeah.
just would have provided so much more value into other psychic decks. Like copying
Mm.
Frillish is incredibly powerful when you don't have your own Frillish. Um, and although like there is some benefit to Zacian because it's 130 HP, it could survive a raw Deoxys. Uh, so there's like a little bit of a benefit there.
Mhm.
It's
It's also more of a guaranteed closer. There's times where if they see Mimikyu's the one on your bench getting ready to attack, your opponent has a little bit of play into that to be careful what they attack with. But then again, you're making your opponent make tough decisions, so it is still doing something. So
yeah. So I think I would definitely swap that to Mimikyu, and then Silent Lab kind of can take it or leave it right now. Like in
yeah.
some scenarios, it's really good, and others it doesn't really do much. But it kind of needs to be a third stadium. Um, so I was even saying like go back to Trop Beach, play Trop Beach and Cleffa. Why not? I don't know.
Play the game.
Yeah,
Play the
exactly.
game.
So yeah, that was our. I mean, we spent a long time talking about our deck because that was our deck. So
Yeah.
something new to talk about as well.
Mm,
Play Cleffa. It's really fun.
that was goaded.
Yeah, Chase's deck. Congrats to Chase getting third place. Great run, great week, as we mentioned with the deck. But yeah, very similar to Alex, and we talked a lot about that matchup as well already. Got Andrew's proximity deck, which we've mentioned he's made a little update in the past couple weeks since the 3K. I don't know if we've shown it though. He has made three changes. Uh,
Three.
three
Yes.
three
Rope.
changes. He has cut draw energy for medical energy to get a little extra healing effect for his Hop Snorlax or any spread shenanigans. He has cut level ball for petrol, so now playing both Skyla and petrol, doubling up on that trainer search effect. And he has cut scuba net for escape rope in case Wobbuffet uh, becomes more popular, which it kind of has in recent weeks. So
Mm.
those are the three changes. Other than that, same old, and still running hot, still doing what it likes to do best. So
It's so funny how Skyla petrol pilled Andrew is, like putting that in every so much so that he's putting two of them in the same deck. Like when I built this deck and played with it like at League after because I played this, the exact 60 to um the last 3K, I was like the Skyla slot was the one that was like, all right, that's my flex. I'm gonna cut that for like a different supporter. And Andrew's
yeah,
like, no, 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 we need more search.
yeah, literally. When
More
I
trainer
played
search.
this deck 2 weeks ago at League, and yeah, I cut Skyla for Hilda. So
That's
like,
that's exactly what I did too.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
wanted
but
Hilda in there.
he's doubling down. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. Still, obviously, maybe he's right. I don't know. So he keeps doing well.
Yeah.
And then we've got Brooke, who placed fifth place after losing in asymmetrical cut to Alex Carpenter. The Pittsburgh Purple deck, as they've coined it, their group from Pittsburgh. And I think the one change that we see here is just a Rockets Watchtower in over the Mystery Garden. Maybe expecting a high count of Psychic, or no, not Psychic, of Colorless, and dealing with that bad matchup and saying, I can beat everything else with what I have.
Mhm.
Just need a little help in the Colorless matchup. So if you are expecting
Yeah.
Colorless, probably a great tech. But I don't think Brooke might have played against Peacock or Hunter. You know, or not Peacock, Dylan or Hunter. Not sure of all of Brooke's matchups. But at the top tables, didn't play against Andrew. So obviously the Watchtower was not helping against Chase and Alex, which was the two people that Brooke ended up losing to. So,
Mhm.
well, one more loss. No. Yeah, she lost. Brooke
Two
lost.
losses and a tie.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Alex twice because
Yes.
started 0-2, lost to Chase round one. I beat Carpenter round one, and then Carpenter paired into Brooke, and Carpenter beat Brooke. So Brooke was 0
Mhm,
2 at the start of this event and clawed it back to go 4-2 to get into ASIM cut. So very
mhm.
impressive run following a rough start. So, I mean, props to Brooke is always going to be right in there. We were saying during testing, like if we had to bet on anybody to win this event, it'd probably be Brooke. And you're almost there, but obviously we didn't factor in the Carpenter plot armor. So, um,
Shout out to the McDonald's burger Ralts.
oh yeah,
I know Brooke and I think Winter told me they're big fans of this card. I think it's so funny that Limitless has like that version of that card that you can put in your list.
yeah,
Because like there's no other stamped cards or play promo cards or anything like that. Like
just
those stamped
McDonald's.
versions, it's just the McDonald's Ralts. So
Yeah,
every time I look at this list, I'm drawn to that little red dot in the corner of the Ralts.
yeah. Yeah, this
Interesting.
this deck is just so beast, and I'm still a huge fan of it. Yeah, if you're looking to pick up a purple deck, I would highly recommend this be the one you pick up, or the one we just. I mean, the one we just posted without Monkey Dory is probably even easier to play. Maybe probably not as
Yeah.
powerful. If you're looking for like baby's first psychic deck, play no Monkey Dory and
Yeah.
then play this deck. And then once you're like expert level, we got 3 levels of
Yeah.
psychic decks here. Expert level, big brain, 1000 IQ is the Ted
Yeah.
Tobin deck.
You gotta start with no sauce, and then as you start cooking, you just add a little bit more sauce in each time. Work your way up.
That's right.
Build up your tolerance,
That's
your
right.
sauce tolerance.
That's right. So yeah, fantastic deck, fantastic player. Good job to Brooke. Anything else you want to add? Neither of us
Yeah.
played against Brooke.
Classic. No, I didn't play against her, but classic Brooklist continues to be proven. I mean, Old Faithful.
That's right. I mean, it just doesn't require any changes and can win any event. So that's why I love it. Yeah, and then we'll talk. I mean, so those are like the top blazing decks. Then we wanted to highlight a few other decks from the field uh, that we thought were interesting or might be, something you guys would want to see. I'm going to tweet out every deck from the event in a thread later this week. So if you want to see anything that we didn't share here, check my Twitter. But I mean, here's JD, 7th place with the Drill Mill deck list. Just performed really great. It was super scary. He was at the top tables with us going into round 3, 4, 5, and had he gotten one more win, we kind of figured he would be the one to win the tournament. He just needed to like avoid the colorless decks because they play Lost City and lots of gusts. And if they Lost City the Excadrill, you pretty much lose. So that was like his goal. But I mean, he destroyed. I think he destroyed Tony on stream. I don't know about destroy. I didn't watch closely. I'm sorry, Tony, if he didn't destroy you. But uh,
Poor Tony, not
he,
here to defend
yeah,
himself.
he almost had me. It ended up in a tie. And then John just had a crazy good start in board state, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Round three, he's playing on stream, and I'm watching the stream, and like you walk over to me, and I'm like, Ben, I don't think we have an answer into this deck.
We have nothing.
I don't think we do. I don't think it's good because he's playing Tony, playing our 60, and then lo and behold, you pair into him, and then the tie, and then I have the better start and just like win. So it was funny. We were joking that like we were evolving and learning how to beat the deck as the day went on.
Yeah. Yeah, but even yours was
But yeah,
close because had you not taken, you needed field blower on that
I took
turn.
Field Blower off the prize.
Yeah,
Yes.
and on that turn you
It's
needed it to like.
yes.
Otherwise, it was over. Like otherwise, I think he would have won for sure.
I don't know. I still had I think I still had other outs to like Gus. I was down to one prize. That was my
Yeah,
last
you were
prize
down to
before
one
my final
prize,
prize.
but I
Yeah.
think you were
But I still
weren't you
had
down Guzma already?
I was down Guzman, but not Versus Seeker, I don't think.
Okay,
I don't think I did. Yeah, I was feeling pretty good. I
gotcha.
don't
Okay,
think I
okay.
had Versus Seeker down. But yeah, it was just like I just started Deoxys, and just like everything I needed to spring up Gallade over the next couple turns. So um and then it was a really unfortunate where he escape roped in a turn that I had the ability to get an energy in the discard pile and Wonders Patch. And so like it accelerate him using the escape rope accelerated how quickly I could power up my Deoxys that was stuck in the active like by another turn. So it's just everything played into my favor. It was yeah.
Yeah,
And which is what you needed because like I said, we didn't really have outs to this.
Yeah.
Straight psychic doesn't, yeah, it doesn't have
He's
much play.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, this deck's crazy. You know, there's turns where I hex. I had to like wait to set up like a hex double KO on his Excadrill and his Machoke. You know, with my Deoxys, and he was able to reestablish Machoke the following turn with a Thornton Rescue Stretcher combo, and sacrifice Soul Rock that turn while putting the Drillbur back down, so like could get into Excadrill on the turn after that, and I was already down my Gust, and he very rudely hit my Versus Seeker off of his Airy. So
Ugh.
yeah, that was like incredibly cringe. And after that, like I couldn't Gust again, and I couldn't Hex again because I was down Versus Seeker, and I had used my Field Blower on that key turn to take the knockout. So I literally he got Excadrill and Lux Cape back into the active on the next turn, and there's like at that point I literally have no nothing else to do except like you know just play the game at an average pace, and
Yes,
we
take
ended up tying. I did not slow
take yeah.
play, uh, and
No,
we
yeah, you have every right to take your game actions as long as you're doing them in a timely manner.
that's
You
right.
know, that's the problem. I was telling, the problem with this deck is like it's got the loop. So those who don't like know Drill Mill, like Extra Draw has the attack that shuffles, 4 cards back into your deck, and you just shuffle your heal, your recovery, your mill cards, to be able to like loop healing your Extra Drill and milling your opponent at the very end. And um, that action takes quite a bit of time to do that because it's not like you're putting stuff to hand. You're like shuffling in and then drawing the cards, and like you're doing a lot of things. So like it takes time to play. Unfortunately, we had 40-minute rounds. We've gone to like 35 minutes. So control and in general, at least at our league, can struggle a little bit. But like point is like this deck takes time to do its
Yeah.
thing. It's not an easy physical loop to do with your hands. I told JD, I was like, man, your hands are gonna be hurting by the end of the day, I'm sure.
Yeah, nah, but I mean, he just loves the deck. I think he could just tell he was having a great time
Yeah.
playing a good old drill mill, and he's a menace with it. So I mean, props to JD for taking it. And had you avoided after he hit us, I think he did hit Andrew or Hunter. One of them hit another
Mhm.
colorless or something, and took another loss. I'm not sure who his second
Mhm.
loss was to. Do you know?
I don't know who's playing against that round after me. I don't know.
Uh, I don't know. Uh, but anyways, I think it was Chase. I think Chase beat him in the final round. So, oh yeah, Chase did beat him in the final round. No, in the fifth round. Uh, to because I played Chase in the sixth round. Chase beat him with Frillish locking him, which also is extremely Frillish locking with Muscle Band. Took it multiple prizes. Uh, with the Frillish and without
Mhm.
items, the deck just kind of goes a lot slower. So yeah, Chase was able to win
Yeah.
that there. So yeah, JD lost to you and to Chase to get knocked out.
Yep.
But otherwise, good run, good run. Uh, yeah, I mean, you,
Yeah, this was my round one, playing against Vincent on the what did I call it here? Barbie Champ. So I think it's cool because it's kind of a different take on fighting that we see. Like fighting Barbie very aggressive, using the Hariyama to be able to like gust things and knock out like support Pokemon and that stuff early with Soul Rock. Um, and then you've also got like I'm kind of like thinking this is like it's like a mid range. It does like a different thing than like Barbiyama, and then like um the Tyrantrum deck is like get a stage 2 up that's really big and strong, which is kind of what this one does, but it also has the utility of the Machoke that JD's deck was also playing that's just super duper uber bench barrier. Prevents all damage from effects of attacks and abilities and everything, moving damage counters. Monkey Dory, Dust Noir, if you're moving damage counters from their Pokemon, it's just like it blocks everything. So you get the utility of that bench barrier on your way up to your Machamp, which is does it's 3 or fewer prices remaining is the
Yeah.
crisis muscles, I think. It has 150 HP and it gets 150 more, so it buffs up to 300 HP. It has an attack that can do 100 damage for 2 fighting, and you can choose to do 100 more, and it can't attack the next turn. So he's got things to lean into that pretty heavily in this list. Playing the rare candy, so not just playing it for the Machoke, and then like, well, might as well play the Machamp. No, he's leaning into the Machamp. So it's kind of like, instead of that early aggression, like you're playing towards like more of a late game, and having some, which is what's fighting I feel like can struggle with a little bit. So it gives you a little bit of a guy that can last, that's not like Ogie Dogie. Like 300 HP can survive some psychic guys. It's weak to psychic, but it can survive like Tina, you know.
Yeah.
So also got some like an extra attacker in here too, in the Slitherwing. I asked him, I saw the Slitherwing and I was like, so are you not playing Terrakion? He's like, no, I'm playing Terrakion too. So he's got like all the basic attackers, plenty of ways to attack. So, but yeah, the Machamp is the cool standout in this list.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very cool list from Vincent. Didn't go his way this time. I think all the fighting decks just, yeah, such a kind of an uphill battle into Psychic right now with how Psychic's being played. Definitely has to find a new route into Psychic, it feels like. Deoxys, I think, like pretty much every Deoxys, every deck was a Deoxys, outside of Chris Harsh. And that was just, Deoxys is just so insanely powerful into fighting. Because like you have to gust it with, you can't gust KO it with Soul Rock, really. You have to gust KO it with like a bigger thing like Okie Dogie. But even after they do that, you can still recover Deoxys and get into it later. And at any point, if you like reset stamp Deoxys attack them to like 3 cards or 2 cards, it's just so insanely hard for them to have another attacker ready to go that can close out the game. Another 2 attackers that can close out the game. So it's just Deoxys I think just makes the matchup a lot harder for fighting.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it adapts in the future. But here's that lone metal deck, Craig, making an appearance after months of being an absentee GLC player. Nice to see him again. Again, not the best performing deck of the day, but wanted to show it off. I've got the Coded Attack Archaludon, as well as the what's the ability name? Massive Body, I think.
That sounds right. All I can think of is Muscular Nose, because that's the funny attack of the other one.
Yeah,
but it's not that.
Massive Body Archaludon, or Caparaja, sorry, which is a 200 HP Behemoth Stage 1 Pokemon that says when it's in the active spot, your opponent can't play any stadium cards, right? So you can lock things like either Silent Lab or Parallel City or Crystal Cave into play, whatever you choose, and those each have just very strong effects into, depending on which deck you're playing against. If locking Silent Lab into play against Colorless, which might struggle to even knock out a 200 HP Pokemon if they don't have Toucannon up, that can very much, seal the game for you. Locking Parallel City into play against Psychic also can be huge. And again, Psychic's another deck that might struggle to hit the 200 HP numbers. Its only downfall being a metal deck that is not going to set up as consistently or as quickly as the Psychic decks and the colorless decks will. So just doing what he can. Anything you want to say about this deck?
No one can ever doubt Craig's love for making metal, because I don't think I have ever seen someone not playing both Bronzong and Matang that decides to cut the Bronzong.
Yeah, no Bronzong, just Matang. I didn't even
No
look at that.
Bronzong, just Matang is like, that's so baller.
That's the Craig special right
bumping
there.
it up to like 11 energies is even just like a little higher for the Matang. So obviously recognizing that needs to make that metal. So that's just really cool to see. Craig,
Super
and looking
beast.
at the top four cards of his deck to find metal energy, and
I
he was
dig it.
The powerful Squall Blastoise originator.
Yeah, I dig it because you got Philippe to get from discard, you got Raihan to get from discard when you need.
Sure.
And then from there, if you can get just power up your Archaludon or your Caparaja that can hopefully tank a hit or survive a turn or two. It's like you don't need the Bronzong once a turn effect. You just need like one or two like burst turns with the Metang. So
Yeah.
I kind of see the vision here. Be
Yo,
interested to
Craig
see.
put Cynthia in this deck. I haven't seen Cynthia since Lily's
Craig
came
is
out.
locked in 2022, bro. Craig.
I love it, man. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's so beast. Yeah, good to see you, Craig. Yeah, like I said, that's our coverage of the season 3 invitational. Before we get into the full grip league, if you want to see the rest of those deck lists, check my Twitter later in the week. Okay, I don't know when I'll tweet them, but this was season 4, week 3 of Gym Leader Challenge League that Connor Geppetto won. Which, if you remember last week's episode, he won that as well. So Connor won both weeks 2 and weeks 3 of our new season. He already has 2 badges in the first 4 weeks. This time with a proximity colorless deck. So now he's got Psychic and he's got colorless. And now he's probably going to have to fight real hard to get whatever third type he wants.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, congrats to Connor. Fantastic new addition to the league and showing how strong of a player he is. We're going to be working to catch up to him. I got second place with Deoxys Monkey. Like I said, it was that night where I was making some sick comebacks against the fighting decks. Ultimately tied against Connor in a crazy close match. And Connor got it on resistance. So what can you do? Could have been my badge. Could have been his.
What? Yeah. What can you do, Ben? What can you do? You can play faster.
I guess I could have played faster. Dude, I mean, this was another against Connor though. This was another match where I started 3 prizes behind. Like I was
Yeah.
filching, I was switching in, things that could take a hit from Fan Rotom with Wobbuffet or just whatever I could do to like buy time. So the problem, I wasn't playing slow. The problem was that I didn't start the game till half the time was up. Like that was really
Mhm.
the issue. And
Yeah.
uh, I had to, at the end of the game, we got into turns. I had been able to power up Deoxys and take out like his only attackers while hexing him to 1 card, and so he couldn't. He had the spill out uh,
Greedent.
Greedent powered up, ready to go, but he couldn't draw up with Bibarel. Um, and he had stacked like triple energy on his deck, so he technically like could have won if he like saw that route to Guzma and coin flip Bibarel for a prize. Um, but
Mhm.
but he ended up passing, so we just tied. And if he had just passed and it was my turn again, I would have won because Deoxys was still powered up. So
Dang.
it's just
1
like
turn away.
that was like how close of a game it was. Like, yeah, if he had Guzma, he might have won to attack with Bibrel or yeah, whatever. So very close. He
Mhm.
ended up getting it on resistance. So congrats to him. I get to keep playing Psychic. I get to play Cleffa some more. So
Heck yeah.
can't be too mad. I'm not gonna read everybody's name here. Is there anything you want to highlight from this week?
Nah, I wasn't here, but yeah, looks pretty. Nothing crazy.
Yep. A lot of psychic, colorless, and fighting. Once again, the only 3 types that
Mhm.
exist in Gym Leader Challenge. If you want to be angry, be angry. I don't know. This was his deck list. Did make the medical energy change similar to
Has the
Andrew.
rope
Does
over the
have the
scoop
rope as
up.
well.
Trying to look at the supporters and see if he's
Got the
changed anything up there.
Skyla.
But does he have level ball?
Does have
He has
Hilda
level
as
ball.
well.
So
No
he has Skyla,
Winona.
Hilda, and level ball. Winona. Okay.
So take a
All right.
look. Yeah. That was Connor's deck list from there. And then you want to do this one?
Sure. Yeah.
You were
we
there. I
have.
wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get to do this one now. So another one where we have a lot of psychic, colorless, and fighting in there. Connor, the only other one in there, continuing a streak of top 4s with the Bastiodon Archaludon list that we talked about a little bit last week. I think he switched his Archaludon or no, his Bastiodon out. Um,
Yes.
to play the one that blocks special energies.
Yes.
So that was a change that we talked about last week that he ultimately ended up making to his list. Congrats to Chase for taking it home, though, in this one, playing the exact 60. Like I said, he was on a roll the week before this, did pretty well. And then, did well at the event, like just huge win streak with this Tobin list. So I played against him, lost to him. He was sitting across from me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm really vibing with this deck," and I was like, "All right, he's playing this. I'm making my predictions for who's going to play what, and I'm like, Chase is playing this to the Invitational. I can
Yeah.
tell you that much."
100%.
Um, yeah, Hunter on proximity, second place. Jack Hooper on the Barbiama in third, rounding out our top four there. I bubbled out, Bubble Boy at 2-1-1, playing that Ted Tobin-esque list. Like I said, I was trying out the Guardy, trying out Cypher Maniac to kind of enable the Guardy, cheese a little bit of stuff there. And then I tried my cut for Cypher Maniac. We were talking a lot of smack about it, and so I wanted to put my money where my mouth is and try it. I cut Versus Seeker from the deck to just try it out. And in those 4 games I played, it never came up, and I didn't miss Versus Seeker. So results are inconclusive as to that yet. I
Gibbs
can't say
theory.
it's bad. You have to have it. It didn't come up, and I was like, and I was never like, man, I need Versus Seeker here. So,
Yeah.
um,
Plus 1 to the Gibbs theory.
Yep, but a very small week, or a very small Friday. Poor Natalie put this on anticipating that we'd probably have quite a few people in for the invitationals this weekend, and I don't think we had any out-of-towners.
Nope.
We have, how many people played? 11 players, and this is the top 8. So only 3 people are not seen on this list here that were there. It was a very small night, 4-rounder, quick in and out, 35-minute rounds. It was like we were out of there like so quick. So
Yep. Yep. Yeah. 11 players only, expecting, I think Natalie polled the people coming from out of town what would they want to do on Friday night if they're here for Saturday's standard event. They chose Gym Leader Challenge and no one showed up. So, I mean, what can you do? I wish I could have gone, but since my wife was starting school this week and I was going to be at the Invitational, I just wanted to spend, one last free evening with her, so I didn't make it out. But I mean,
for
yeah,
sure.
11 players. That was the lowest night in months and months and months, and because it wasn't on our normal Thursday, so doesn't count for our streak of 5-rounders. I'd say it's
Yeah.
definitely an anomaly. So
One of the reasons we were doing this is I don't know if we would mention this before. It is going to be a shorter season this season with the way things are falling around the holidays, the Thursdays and stuff. So Natalie offered up throwing in another like bonus one to kind of count towards the season, so we still get as close to the maximum amount of weeks as we can.
absolutely, absolutely. So congrats to all the champions from the past week, Chase, Alex, and Connor. We've got another full group league coming up this week, as well as world championships coming up this coming weekend. Obviously not necessarily GLC related, but there's usually news for future sets, future mechanics, things like that. So if there's anything relevant, I'm sure we'll definitely talk about it. I'll probably watch a lot of it. So, tune in next week for some Worlds recap discussion, as well as some 30th anniversary set talk as well, because I assume this full set release in English or whatever will be out by then. Who knows? We'll probably talk about it either way, because it comes out like the following week, right? Does it come out September 5th? Do you know?
I have not been keeping track of this one. I
September
don't know.
9th, I
Maybe.
think, something like that.
Yeah.
So it comes out pretty soon, the 30th set, with the Unknown, with the Executor. We'll talk about all that coming up.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
they've been leaked in batches, so we haven't really talked about much of it, but we'll get to
yes,
it. Don't worry.
we'll do a full recap soon, and yeah, so that'll just about do it for our episode. Thank you to all of our channel members continuing to stick with us. Really appreciate you guys. Yeah, so if you're interested in supporting the channel, the content, the podcast, become a channel member. Get some shout outs, some priority responses and comments. That thing. Can't promise a lot, but that's what we can do for you right now. And for all of our channel members, thank you so much. Really love you guys. And
Yeah. Thanks for
Peace.
hanging out, everyone. We will GL see you next time. Bye.